Good morning, March 1st. By adoption. You received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, Abba, Father. Romans chapter 8, verse 15. Every now and then, we see these encouraging headlines. Couple adopts abandoned baby. Family takes in handicapped youth. Needy child finds loving home. Such stories are heartwarming reminders that some children who have no family can find a place to belong. The Apostle Paul uses the illustration of adoption to explain how we are drawn into the family of God. We are alone, bound in sin, until we are found by God and welcomed into His family. Because of His love and grace, we are adopted as His own children. Ephesians chapter 1, verse 5. In the first century, an adopted son was chosen by his father to carry on the family name and inherit his estate. There was nothing inferior about the son. In fact, Bible scholar F. Bruce suggests that because of the father's intentional choice, the adopted son might well enjoy the father's affection more fully and reproduce the father's character more worthily. Our place in God's family gives us great rights and privileges, but it also gives us responsibilities. Since your heavenly Father chose you to be a part of His eternal family, live up to that calling today by asking Him to reproduce His character in your life. All are equally welcome to Christ, and all have an equal need of Him. Adam Clark. Good evening, and the theme for March is Jesus Christ, Son of God. The man of sorrows. He was despised and rejected by men, a man of sorrows, and familiar with suffering. Isaiah chapter 53, verse 3. Christ's suffering reminds us that God's grace does not come cheap. The price was suffering, sorrow, and the blood of His only Son. The uniqueness of Christ's suffering did not lie so much in His physical suffering, even though He endured indescribable agony on the cross. Crucifixion was the most barbaric and merciless of deaths. C.K. Schilder wrote a trilogy on the suffering of Christ. In his writings, the author maintains the suffering of His soul was the soul of His suffering. He, the one without sin, in obedience to the Father, became sin for our sakes. The unbearable burden of the sins of all people through the ages was placed on His shoulders, and He carried it to Golgotha on our behalf. Let us focus on the suffering of Christ until we see ourselves standing alone and individually helpless and in anguish before God.